Joining us once again is the CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Great Lakes Wealth, Dewey Steffen, back with us on the Megacast. Dewey, thank you for being with us again.
Tyler, great to see you. Happy New Year to you and all the viewers.
Yes, you as well, Dewey. And so, of course, when we have you on, one of the services that your business provides is financial planning services. We ask this every time, but it's good for people that are tuning into the show for the first time or hearing you or hearing of your services for the first time. What does a financial planner do that is so helpful to individuals and to groups of people?
Sure. Well, a financial planner would be in a similar sense as your doctor or perhaps, your lawyer or your other professional. So we call it financial health. And so a financial planner will help assess your financial health, will help you develop a plan to improve your financial health, and then also to continue to review and continue to have the checkups and continue down that path to financial health and prosperity.
And so who needs a financial planner? If someone's out there and they're evaluating their finances, whether they're just starting their career or whether they're approaching retirement, who can use the services of a financial planner?
Yeah, I believe everyone can. When you're starting out, your needs are different than when you're approaching or into retirement. Absolutely. That's the same thing with seeing a doctor. You see a doctor from the time you're born and have wellness checks. And so the same thing with your financial situation. If you don't have the assets or the complexity to hire, a top-notch financial planner, that would be like, finding and needing a neurosurgeon. You don't need one just for your annual checkup. It's when something is really going to become complicated or complex. So without that, you can definitely just even go online. Our website, greatlakeswealth.us, has a ton of calculators, a ton of white papers, tons of educational tools. So whether it's our site or any of those sites out there, everyone can use a financial planner for sure.
And you mentioned earlier, you made the analogy of financial health and your services kind of being as a doctor of sorts for your finances and making plans, as people make plans to better their health. They also want to be making plans to better their financial future as well. What are some steps that people should be taking as they either begin to make those financial plans for their future or even as they're continuing to modify and adjust their financial plans over time?
Well, the first thing that we always say is start now. So rather than wait and do it later, start now. And then in terms of planning, there's different types of financial planning. We here at Great Lakes Wealth use what we call goals-based planning. Another one might be comprehensive planning, but we say goals-based planning, meaning pick your goal and then make a plan for it. So a family or an individual may have multiple goals: a goal to pay off their house, a goal to fund college, a goal to have a retirement that you desire. So create your goal and then start with the goals-based plan. And then after that, we go with the very simple what, where, when, how, and why. So just define each of those. That'll help you define the plan and then, or the goal, I should say, and then from there you can create your plan.
And so, like many other goals that are set, a lot of people will begin to really execute on those goals on January 1st of a year. It's their New Year's resolution. They just want to start with a clean slate. They want to, or even they just want to have an easily tangible way to keep track of their goals. In terms of financial goals, what are some common financial goals that either you encourage through your business at the beginning of the year, or that you commonly see your clients undertake as they are re-upping on their financial goals at the beginning of a new year?
Yeah, Tyler, that's a great question. What do you do to start the year for your financial plan? And the first one is to either create your plan or review your plan. So the first one is to, again, create or review your plan. And then after that, you want to deal with debt. So again, financial resolutions, New Year resolutions, deal with debt. So either restructure your debt, reduce your debt, or eliminate debt. There is bad debt and there is good debt. So understand that and deal with that. And then next is understand about retirement or savings or investing. Right now, we say after you deal with debt, you should understand that cash is trash. And so a lot of advisors, a lot of planners will say, save for retirement. If you just put money away, you're not going to get to retirement. You need to invest for retirement. You need to invest for success. So deal with debt and then invest for success.
We're joined by Dewey Steffen. He is the Chief Investment Officer and CEO of Great Lakes Wealth. You can learn more information and get in contact with them by visiting their website at greatlakeswealth.us. And so as people are going through their goals for this year financially and are working toward those goals or working on improving those goals. Much like a New Year's resolution, it can be easy for people to lose track or to lose momentum. And so in the financial sense, often those benchmarks are revisited month to month, whether it be billing or whether it be contributions you're making in your investments or to your 401k or whatever the case may be. What should people be doing each month to reset their financial mindset going forward and to keep up on their financial goals?
Tyler, you are hitting on some great questions and some great topics today. I appreciate that. On a monthly basis, it's really simple, right? One that everyone can do is pay off your credit card balance every month. So you'll get your statement and you'll see your balance. Pay it off. So for a monthly goal, that's one. The next one, and you hit on it, is invest for your retirement. So you have your 401k or 403b, you have your IRA or your Roth IRA. So do an auto deposit into each of those plans through your employer. You do it through payroll, and then you can do your Roth IRA or your traditional IRA through your bank auto draft system. Set it up. It automatically happens monthly, and then boom, set it and forget it, and you're on your way.
We're joined by Dewey Steffen, CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Great Lakes Wealth, joining us on the Megacast. And of course, New Year means that we are in a new tax year as well, as now going forward, all finances in 2022, of course, will apply to 2022 taxes, not necessarily to your 2021 taxes. And so with that being the case, as people are setting themselves up for gaining financially throughout the 2022 year, they also need to continue to prepare themselves for tax season for the 2022 tax year. Of course, that will be those taxes will be due in 2023. What are some common mistakes or some common, for lack of better terms, landmines on the tax front that you often see people run into early on in the year as they are quickly scrambling to get their goals moving forward, or that just slips by as they're focusing on other things after January 1st?
Yeah, great question. So you said landmines to consider before the April 15th tax deadline. And so again, sometimes as you're preparing your plan or executing your plan, you might be going too fast. So we do at the same time say, set it and forget it. We also say, slow down and be prepared for what's ahead of you. And as it relates to taxes, you don't know what may be coming. I think a lot of people, because of last year and the response to COVID by the government and the other regulatory bodies, we all maybe received a tax rebate that we normally didn't, or we had less to pay than we normally did. We even had a week longer, I think, or a month longer to pay the taxes last time. So anyway, the main topic here is don't make any big purchases until after you do your taxes so you know where you stand. The landmine would be making a big purchase or doing something financially in one direction that you have to undo or put you backwards once you realize what your tax situation is.
Yeah, especially because a lot of those additional benefits that were provided by the government as pandemic relief to help people with their bills, to help people with their finances as we continue through the crisis, a lot of those were not necessarily going to be taxed in 2021, but we're going to be taxed in 22 or in 23. And so when that bill comes due to ultimately pay a part of that back to the government, you want to make sure that you're ready to do so and it's not a surprise. You don't want any surprises with your finances ever. That's never good news, especially when it involves the IRS.
Agree 100%. This year is going to shake a few people up, no doubt about it.
So at the end of 2021, the markets have been down for days, and some days in 2022 already they've rallied back, and in a couple of cases in record numbers as well. What is your best advice on people that are either entering the market or are exploring, maybe being a little bit more aggressive in the market going into 2022?
Well, I said it earlier, Tyler, and that is cash is trash. So people, when they look to invest in the market, they typically are hesitant for two reasons. One is it's too high, or two, I don't understand it. And so A, you need to understand it, and B, you need to recognize what is high or what is low. As you said, there's been volatility lately. When we say volatility, we mean maybe drops in the market. The market has not had a 10% correction in over a year, actually over 18 months, right? So because of that, we're going to expect the market to drop at some point. So guess what? Early in 2022, it has. And so this is an opportunity for people to invest for success. So for 2022 at Great Lakes Wealth, our major theme is volatility creates opportunity. We have not had much volatility, so you just have to get in and let it ride. Well, now with volatility, you can try to pick your moments if you want, talk to a professional, and you can dollar cost average in. So there will be opportunities when the market goes down. Don't panic and sell. Use that to panic and buy.
And so we're joined by Dewey Steffen. He's the CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Great Lakes Wealth. You can get in contact with them and learn more information on greatlakeswealth.us. Recently, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about inflation. And we've continued to hear that as a buzzword and as a topic of discussion, as an issue going forward financially, not only for individuals, but also for the U.S. in general. And they had mentioned in that discussion that often the way that inflation is countered and resolved is through a recession. And so with that being the case, on the investment front and on the savings front, particularly for retirement, as people have seen over the past couple of years, the market fluctuate. Maybe some of their investment portfolio has experienced a boom, and they want to be a little more aggressive with that, but they also need to be cautious because at some point the market is going to adjust itself. How do you advise your clients in these financial times to adjust their strategies in investment and in saving, but also continuing to be cautious, knowing that the market that we're in right now is not quite stable and at some point is going to have to adjust itself?
Tyler, a great question, a very complicated and complex answer, but we will try to make it short and sweet. First thing I'm going to do is give a shameless plug to our podcast called What Do We Do? It comes out every other Wednesday, and we just did an episode last month about inflation. And there are 3 ways that you combat inflation by your actions, and there are 3 ways that you can combat inflation with your investments. So with that, again, you can go to our website or YouTube or Spotify or Apple iTunes, and you can check out our recent podcast on inflation and how to not just survive it, but thrive during it. So we'll start with that. And then to answer your question more directly, Tyler, you just need to understand, again, inflation means prices of things go up. So you also need to have the prices of your things go up, or you need to not buy so many of those things that the prices are going up. So again, just pay attention to what things cost, and also pay attention to what you're investing in so that your investments are keeping up with the cost of those goods.
And then more and more over the past several months, certainly in 2021, it became kind of the talk of the town on the financial front is cryptocurrency and other forms of crypto as well, such as NFTs. Do you have any advice for people that are exploring those markets for investment, or just out of curiosity here in 2022?
Yeah, sure. Also, we did a podcast, actually 2, on this topic, Tyler, and then actually the broad category is digital assets. It used to just be known as the Bitcoin category, and then there were other coins that came out, so they called it the cryptocurrency category. Well, now, as you touched on, there are NFTs. There's actually this whole crazy thing that people are talking about called the metaverse. So we won't get into all that, but with it, it's called digital assets. At Great Lakes Wealth, we actually have a digital assets assets portfolio where we invest in these themes and we discuss them. So our website has some information. We have a white paper. We have 2 podcast episodes discussing it. But yes, it's a complicated subject, but it's also something that is extremely relevant today. And I'll leave your watchers with this. Don't put more than 5%, 0 to 5, maybe 3 to 5 is out the one. I don't even know who the people are. But again, don't get in over your head. It's an extremely volatile asset class. It's extremely brand new, and it's extremely difficult to navigate. So you can look to invest in cryptocurrencies, NFTs, blockchain investments, etc. But please be very careful. And we also say here that if you don't know about something, again, don't invest in it. So hire a professional that knows about it to invest in it, or get your own information and your research done to then succeed in your investment.
We're joined by Dewey Steffen, CEO and Chief Investment Officer with Great Lakes Wealth. Dewey, another minute or so with you before we'll say goodbye today. Any other advice or anything else you'd like to say at this time to our audience?
I would just like to say that, again, Happy New Year to everyone. It's 2022, and this is a year where you should be healthy, wealthy, and wise. So certainly pay attention to what's happening on the front with coronavirus and the variants, but also any other of your health matters. You know, make sure you eat healthy and exercise and stay healthy. And then financially, again, try to invest for success and manage your wealth. And then last but not least is certainly be wise. We always say MGD, make good decisions. So this year, whether it's estate planning or just, you know, things going on in your personal life, be wise, make good decisions, and hopefully everyone out there has an amazing 2022.
And hopefully you as well. Thank you so much, Dewey.
Thank you, Tyler. We'll see you again.